Okay, hey, welcome to HTM Hackers Hangout. This is Matt Taylor. It's August 4th, 2017. And welcome. Thanks for joining and hanging out with us. So in this monthly live hangout, I generally just give people in the HTM community an idea of what Numenta is working on, what I'm working on, and then open it up to the community who can join and give updates on the types of things that they're working on or questions that they might have, or anything, any type of conversation that we might want to have. So starting off, I'll give you an update with what I've been working on. So I've been focusing on YouTube a lot. If you look at our YouTube channel, you'll notice I changed it quite a bit. Let me share my screen here. Oops, here we go. So here's the new YouTube look. I know it's sort of it bothers me to see my face so much, but honestly, so I went to VidCon, right? The big video conferencing like YouTube conference that they have every year. And apparently branding is really important. And I sort of baked myself into the YouTube brand by making all these HTM School episodes and putting my face on thumbnails. And so I just thought I was going to follow that all the way through. So I've changed the YouTube channel to be called HTM School. I'm focusing really heavily on educating people through this medium. Oh, I love that. The point being, like, I think we could probably agree that YouTube and online video is this massively growing medium for educational content. If you go, I mean, just, if your pipe bursts in your house, like the first thing I do is go to YouTube to find somebody else who has shown everybody on their YouTube channel how to fix this problem or something. And especially in the younger generation, I have 2 kids. They're really focused on that type of educational content. Like, it's much more natural for them to go look at videos than it is to read papers. Not that papers aren't important. The supplemental material I think is really important to have. But to introduce content, especially complex content like HTM theory, to audiences, I think video medium is the best way to go. So my whole goal with the YouTube channel is to expose HTM theory to like a new generation of people, using the YouTube generation. So you'll notice, like in the last video that I just posted this morning, the temporal memory part 2, it's a lot lighter, it's a lot goofier than the previous ones. I did the whole t-shirt thing and added some characters, intentionally knowing that this is I'm moving a little bit, but it still has the same educational content. I'm not leaving out anything. I'm just trying to tell a story. That's the whole thing. When you're trying to engage an audience with video content, you have to tell a story somehow. So I'm trying to learn how to do that best. As I go along and create more content, I'm going to hopefully be doing better, because this one felt a little bit forced, honestly, but I got to start somewhere. So
I thought this one was funny. I laughed a lot.
Oh, good. Good. I've had some mixed reviews so far, so I'm interested in whoever's watching this. I know you guys are kind of our diehard fans. Let me know what you think of the new HTM School video. Was it too goofy? Was it too distracting? Or did you feel like it was more engaging? And honestly, I'm trying to engage a younger audience. When I went to VidCon, I was like blown away, because I usually go to software conferences and engineering conferences. VidCon was so diverse and so young. There were so many kids there with their parents. It was so many women there, so many different ethnicities and backgrounds. Everybody honestly felt so comfortable just being themselves and flying their freak flag, if you know what I mean, and just expressing themselves. And I felt like that is like the environment of YouTube. So I know the most important thing is to be yourself on YouTube and try not to fake anything. So this isn't me faking anything. It's sort of just letting go a little bit. So if it's good, let me know. If it's not, let me know. I want to try and tweak it as I go. I would really like HTM School to be like this, as HTM technology grows, to be like the opening portal for people to learn about HTM, because I think HTM is going to be a really important technology over the next, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years, who knows. So anyway, just that update. And I've got a bunch of other videos that I'm planning right now. Most of my time right now is going into creating educational content on YouTube for the next year. That's what I'm planning on doing primarily. So that means, so I'm doing a new channel introduction. I'm going to do a couple of sort of fluff videos that can go to a broader audience, like introduction to theoretical neuroscience, like the different neuroscience, key neuroscience components of HTM, like going deeper into the neuron model, perhaps just describing a pyramidal neuron, just in general. But you know, sort of hitting on the key aspects of neuroscience that HTM is fundamentally based upon, and maybe describing some of those things. I'd love to do something on location cells, grid cells, or something in the future once we've have a better handle on how that's working. And we have some visiting neuroscientists that come into the office every once in a while, and I want to try and start interviewing those guys and gals. So when they come in, I think that would maybe lend some credibility to Numenta and HTM and our approach. If I could sit down with some neuroscientists and say, what do you do day to day? What kind of experiments do you run? What got you into this? And why are you here? You know, why are you interested in HTM? How does it relate to the neuroscience work that you do? So I'm going to do some stuff like that over the next year, in addition to two or three, I don't know, episodes on sensory motor integration. So I already know the first one. I'm just going to talk about layers and columns. Probably not going to run the system. I'm just going to describe layers and columns and kind of the structure that that we're going to be talking about, layer 2, 3, layer 4, input layer, output layer sort of thing. Okay, yeah. So that's the YouTube plan. That my second priority is still going to be community support. So there's been a lot of forum activity recently, which is great. I'm struggling to answer all the questions. So if anybody's out there and Jacob Everest is online right now, thank you for helping answer some questions on the forum. That's really helpful. If I see someone else come in and engage a newbie sort of and explain some things, that gives me peace of mind a little, and I can say, okay, I'm gonna let that go right now, and I'll come back to it in a day or two and see how it's going. So I really appreciate when the community sort of becomes self-serving. But if I miss anything, you know, hit me up, let me know. I'm gonna try and help. There's also some code examples that are out of date now since we released NUPIC 1.0. So I am gonna still like go back to those, like the geospatial coordinate encoder example code doesn't run against the new NUPIC, and the workshop code doesn't run against the new NUPIC. So I'm going to be fixing those stuff like that. I'm going to continue to clean up and help people do installations and stuff. But for the most part, I am really focusing on educational stuff and editing and video production. As you can see, my sound things and a microphone. That's it from me. That's that's basically my update. I'm going to be moderating the forums, reading the forums, and creating new educational content. That's what I'm doing. And with that, we wanted to give we can't really give a great research update right now, unless Marcus, you have something you can talk about. We will have an update coming in the next week or two that has to do with the origin of the location signal and sensory motor integration theory. Which I think will be a big deal. But Jeff said, don't talk about it yet. He's still working a couple things. He's not quite ready, but he's excited. So, and when he's excited, I know things are going to happen. So,
yeah, I don't have any particular update. In the last one of these, I said that I'll have a write-up posted in the next couple weeks, and we ended up juggling a lot of new ideas. So I'm still excited to write something up that I have in mind, but the write-up hasn't happened yet. So yeah, I don't have any new things to talk about yet, but right. It is an exciting time in the office right now.
There's a lot of ideas, which is good. I was in the office a couple weeks ago, and I noticed there's a lot of ideas flying around. And it's good to see after that sort of idea storm, Jeff's hone in on something and say, this is what we're doing, because he throws out lots of ideas. And when he focuses in on one, it tends to be the right one. So Jacob, do you want to say anything? Do you have any questions or discussions you want to jump in on?
No, just I'm just can't wait to hear the sensory motor research updates. That's I really appreciate the for you guys put out a couple some open questions. So
great. Well, sort of like I did last time, I did this series of talks with Jeff about sensory motor integration, and those went over pretty well with the community. And he's already told me he wants to talk about this on YouTube. So I will be doing something with him. Probably the next time I'm in the office, I'll probably record a chat with him and ask him a bunch of questions. Last time I did that, I posted on the forum and to see if any people on the forum had questions. But at this point, I don't think I even know what the questions are yet. So I might just have this discussion with him, and then we'll sort of respond to any questions that come up afterwards. But there will be some content coming up. I don't know exactly when, probably in the next month or two. And I'm talking video content. There might be more than that. Jeff usually likes to write like a forum post or something to describe. He'll probably want to write something up like that. I will encourage him to. Let's put it that way. Okay, last call for any comments. Thanks you guys for joining. And that's all I had. So as always, thank you for watching HTM Hackers Hangout, and hit the like and subscribe button if you like to watch these videos. These are sort of the unproduced videos that I'm just kind of throwing out there. And we usually have a little bit of a discussion beforehand. I like to join the meeting, 15 minutes early and see if anybody in the community wants to just hang out and talk before we start the live broadcast. So I did that again today. So next time, if you want to join the Hangout and you don't want your face on the camera, you can still join and hang out and chat and then drop off before we broadcast. That's up to you. Otherwise, you can hook up with us on HTM forum. That's discourse.numenta.org. Thanks everybody for joining HTM Hackers Hangout, and take care. Bye guys.